might absolutely destroy your wallet 5 years down the line. Initial purchase price. Let's start with the obvious, the sticker price. What does it actually cost to drive one of these cars off the lot in 2025? And this is where things get interesting, because these three brands are playing completely different games. Honda is your entry-level affordable choice. Ford is somewhere in the middle. And BMW? Well, BMW is luxury territory. But they all have cheap options if you know where to look. Honda's cheapest car right now is the Civic sedan, starting around $25,000. That's their entry point. You're getting a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 150 horsepower. Nothing crazy, but it's reliable, it's fuel efficient, and it's going to last you 200,000 miles if you take care of it. The HR-V crossover is just slightly more expensive, around $25,100. So Honda's keeping things accessible. They've always been about volume sales, getting cars into people's hands, and they do that by keeping prices reasonable. Ford's story is different. Their cheapest offering used to be the Fiesta, the Focus, little econoboxes that competed directly with Honda. But Ford killed all their sedans except the Mustang, so now the cheapest Ford you can buy is the Maverick pickup truck, starting around $28,000 for 2025 models. That's actually impressive, guys, because you're getting a truck, a hybrid truck that gets 42 miles per gallon in the city, for less than $30,000. The Escape crossover starts around $31,000, so Ford's entry point is a bit higher than Honda, but you're getting different vehicles. BMW is a whole different ballgame. Their cheapest car is the 2 Series Grand Coupe, starting just under $40,000. That's almost double what you'd pay for a Honda Civic. And here's the thing, that $40,000 BMW, it's front-wheel drive, it's got a base engine. It's not even close to what people think of when they think BMW. But it gets you into the brand, it gets you that badge, and for some people, that matters. The X1 SUV is similar money, around $41,000, so BMW's playing in luxury territory, even at their cheapest. Maintenance costs. Maintenance is where the true cost shows up, and these three brands, they could not be more different. Honda has built their entire reputation on being cheap to maintain, and the numbers back it up. Honda's average annual maintenance cost is around $428 per year. That's one of the lowest in the industry. Over 10 years, you're looking at about $5,600 for a Civic. Parts are everywhere. Every mechanic knows how to work on them. And Honda engines? They just run forever. The Civic uses timing chains, not belts, so you don't have that expensive service interval. Oil changes are straightforward. Brake jobs are cheap. It's just simple, reliable transportation. Ford sits right in the middle. Their average annual maintenance is around $775 per year, so you're paying almost double what you'd pay for a Honda. Over 10 years, that's about $7,500 to $8,000. Ford has had some issues, guys. The EcoBoost engines, they've had problems. Turbos failing, transmissions, especially in the Focus and Fiesta, were nightmares. The F-150 had issues with cam phasers eating themselves. But here's the thing, Ford parts are cheap. There's a huge aftermarket. You can work on them yourself if you want to, and when something does break, it's not the end of the world. BMW is where things get expensive, really expensive. The average annual maintenance for a BMW is $968 per year, and that's just the average. Over 10 years, you're looking at close to $10,000 just in scheduled maintenance. That doesn't include repairs, and BMW repairs, they add up fast. A BMW 328i over the first 75,000 miles costs about $11,800 to maintain. That's more than some entire car's cost. The problem with BMW is everything is expensive. The parts are expensive, the labor is expensive because you need a specialist, and when something breaks, it's never just one thing, it's the whole system. Consumer Reports did a study on maintenance costs over 10 years, and the rankings tell the whole story. Honda came in as one of the most affordable brands to maintain. Ford was in the middle of the pack, reasonable costs, and BMW was near the bottom, one of the most expensive brands to maintain. Only a few luxury brands like Mercedes, Land Rover, and Porsche cost more than BMW. So if you're looking at pure maintenance costs, Honda wins by a mile. Ford is manageable, and BMW, you better have deep pockets. Reliability and repair frequency. Maintenance is one thing, but repairs? Honda's reliability is legendary, guys. RepairPal gives them a reliability rating where you're going to the shop about 0.3 times per year for unscheduled repairs. That's incredibly low. The Civic, the Accord, the CR-V, these are some of the most reliable cars on the road. Honda's been making the same basic engines for decades. They know what works, and they stick with it. The L15 turbocharged four-cylinder that's in the Civic? It's proven. The naturally aspirated engines even more so. Honda doesn't take big risks with their drivetrains, and that pays off in reliability. Ford's reliability has improved, but it's still not Honda level. Ford ranks about average. They score a 3.5 out of 5 from RepairPal. You're looking at about 0.3 times per year for unscheduled repairs, similar to Honda actually. But when Ford cars break, the repairs tend to be more severe. 15% of Ford repairs are considered major issues. That's higher than the industry average. The power-shift dual-clutch transmission in older Focuses and Fiestas? Those were disasters, total failures requiring replacement. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 in F-150S had issues with turbos and cam phasers. Ford's gotten better. The newer stuff is more reliable, but their track record has some rough patches. BMW reliability is where things get tough. BMW ranks 30th out of 32 brands in RepairPal's reliability rankings. Only Porsche and Land Rover are worse. You're going to the shop 0.9 times per year for unscheduled repairs. That's more than double Honda. And when BMW breaks, 15% of those repairs are severe, just like Ford. But remember, BMW repairs cost way more money. The N54 engine, twin-turbo straight-six from the late 2000s, that engine was a nightmare. High-pressure fuel pumps, turbos, wastegates, injectors, all failing regularly. The N63 V8, timing chain guides eating themselves and requiring the engine to come out to fix it. Even the newer stuff, BMW's had issues with timing chains on four-cylinder engines, plastic cooling system components that crack and leak. Parts and labor costs. Now this is where brand really matters. Honda parts are cheap and they're everywhere. You can get OEM Honda parts online for reasonable prices. Aftermarket stuff is even cheaper, and it's good quality because so many companies make parts for Hondas. Labor rates for Honda are low because every mechanic knows how to work on them. You don't need a specialist. You can take your Civic to any independent shop, and they'll fix it properly. Brake pads for a Civic? Maybe $50 for the front. An alternator? Couple $100. It's just not expensive. Ford parts are also pretty affordable and widely available. The aftermarket for Ford is massive, especially for trucks. You can get parts for an F-150 anywhere. Labor rates are reasonable because, again, every mechanic works on Fords. The dealership might charge you more, but you don't have to go there. Independent shops can handle it. But Ford uses some proprietary stuff that can be annoying. Their infotainment systems, sync, that stuff can be expensive to replace or fix. But mechanical parts? They're fine. BMW parts are where you feel it. Brake pads for a BMW 328i? Around $150 to $200 just for the parts. An alternator? $500 or more. And labor? You're paying $150 to $200 an hour at a BMW dealership. Independent shops that specialize in BMW are a bit cheaper, but you still need someone who knows what they're doing. Because BMWs are complicated. Everything's electronic. Everything's integrated. You can't just throw parts at it and hope it works. You need diagnostic equipment, you need knowledge, and that costs money. Real-world ownership costs. Let's say you buy a 2025 Honda Civic for $25,000. You drive it for 10 years. Your maintenance costs are about $5,600. Insurance is going to be cheap because it's a Honda, let's say $1,200 a year. So that's $12,000 over 10 years. Fuel costs with gas at, let's say, $3.50 a gallon, and the Civic getting 35 miles per gallon combined, you're looking at maybe $15,000 to $20,000 in fuel over 10 years, depending on how much you drive. So total cost? Maybe $50,000 to $55,000 over 10 years. And at the end of that, you've still got a car worth something, because Hondas hold their value. Ford Maverick, you buy it for $28,000. Maintenance over 10 years, let's say $8,000. Insurance, similar to the Honda, maybe slightly higher because it's a truck, let's say $1,300 a year, that's $13,000. Fuel costs? The Maverick Hybrid gets incredible mileage. 42 city, 33 highway. So you're probably looking at similar fuel cost to the Honda, maybe even less. So total cost? Maybe $52,000 to $57,000 over 10 years. Pretty close to the Honda, actually. And the Maverick's going to hold value too, because trucks always do. BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe, $40,000 to buy. Maintenance over 10 years, $10,000. And that's if nothing major breaks. Insurance for a BMW is expensive, especially if you're young. Let's say $2,000 a year. That's $20,000 over 10 years. Fuel costs? BMWs get decent mileage, but they require premium fuel, so add another 20 to 30% to your fuel costs compared to Honda. That's another few $1,000s. So total cost? You're looking at $75,000 to $80,000 over 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, that BMW's depreciation is going to be brutal. You might have a car worth $8,000 to $10,000 if you're lucky. The random factor. Two people can buy the exact same car, same year, same model, same everything, and have completely different experiences. With Honda, that randomness is minimal. You buy a Civic, it's probably going to be fine. You buy another Civic, it's probably going to be fine. There's consistency there because Honda's manufacturing quality control, it's just really good. They don't have as many variables. Ford's got more randomness. You could buy an F-150 with the 5.0 V8 and it runs forever. Or you could buy one with the 3.5 EcoBoost and have turbo issues at 60,000 miles. You could get a Maverick and have zero problems, or you could be one of the people dealing with multiple recalls. Ford's had a lot of quality control issues with the Maverick, so there's more variability in the Ford ownership experience. Now BMW, the randomness is off the charts. People who buy a used BMW 3 Series and drive it for 100,000 miles and had no issues whatsoever. People who may buy a low-mileage BMW, dealer-maintained pristine service history, and may face constant problems like electrical gremlins, coolant leaks, oil consumption issues. And that's the thing with BMW, you're rolling the dice more than with Honda or Ford. Who builds the cheapest cars? So let's answer the question. Who builds the cheapest cars? And the answer depends on what you mean by cheap. If you mean cheapest to buy, Honda wins. The Civic at $25,000 is the cheapest of these three, and it's a real car, not a penalty box. The Maverick is impressive at $28,000, but it's $3,000 more. And BMW? There's no comparison. They're almost double the price. If you mean cheapest to own over time, Honda wins again, by a significant margin. The combination of low purchase price, low maintenance, low repairs, good fuel economy, and strong resale value, Honda's just hard to beat in total cost of ownership. If you mean cheapest to maintain, Honda wins that too. $428 a year versus $775 for Ford and $968 for BMW. It's not even close. If you mean best value for money, now this is where it gets interesting. The Ford Maverick makes a strong case here because for $28,000, you're getting a hybrid truck that can haul stuff, tow 2,000 pounds, and get 42 miles per gallon. That's pretty special. And even though maintenance is higher than Honda, it's still reasonable. So if you need a truck, the Maverick might actually be the better value than a Civic. BMW doesn't win on any cost metric. They're the most expensive to buy, most expensive to own, most expensive to maintain. But people don't buy BMWs to save money. They buy them for the driving experience, the badge, the performance, the luxury. And if that's what you value, then the extra cost might be worth it to you. My take on this, after years of owning cars from all different brands, if your priority is keeping costs low, if you want a car that's going to be cheap to buy, cheap to own, cheap to run, Honda is your answer. Ford represents the middle ground. BMW? You're paying for luxury and performance. At the end of the day, guys, the cheapest car is the one that fits your needs, doesn't break down on you, and doesn't drain your bank account. And for most people, most of the time, that's going to be a Honda. I hope that helps. I'll catch you next time.